Hey guys, welcome to the new and improved Drawesome Gaming. From here on out, every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, I'll be bringing you doodles with most in conjunction with my new podcast with Mike Gaines, The Experience Point Chronicles. Today we're going to be talking about relationships in gaming. I can say with confidence that two of my longest and closest relationships began over a shared passion for gaming. From a young age, I would play video games with my dad and my brother. My dad would play just as much as my brother and I, with the added exception that when my dad heard music that he really liked, he would get up and sing and dance with the background music. Whenever I hear the Desert Land theme from Super Mario Bros. 3, I always think of my dad. As I got older, I would sneak out of bed and watch my dad play Ocarina of Time so I could learn about what to expect from the game. I remember being amazed and impressed at how fearless he seemed battling all the dungeon bosses and fighting the Re-Dead in Castletown instead of running away from them like I did. Not only was Dad consistently guiding me with his knowledge, he showed me the courage in the face of the toughest enemies both in games and in real life. Way back in my college days, when I wasn't studying, I was probably playing Final Fantasy XI. I spent a lot of time leveling with my Link Shell members, where I became really good friends with an elven named Seishi. We did almost everything together. While exploring Vana'diel, we talked about life, school, work, and the stresses of Final Fantasy XI. Eventually, this friendship evolved into more of a relationship, and after a couple years of long-distance courting that was almost exclusively on Final Fantasy XI, we got engaged and moved in together. It was there we both learned the tough lesson that sometimes there's a significant difference between having an online gaming romance and the hard work it takes to make a relationship work in person. When I was growing up, I always looked up to my brother. I very seldom got to hang out with him one-on-one, except for the occasional sitting in the living room and playing Super Nintendo. Since he was 9 years older than me, he moved out of the house when I was still little, and then I saw him even less. He always knew which games I loved, or the ones I was most excited about, and would share in the experience of playing them with me. That's how I got into Chrono Trigger. These days, I'm much closer to my brother than I've ever been, even though we live on opposite ends of the US. We've both maintained the same fiery passion for video games. 20 years later, we still have similar interests and a mutual respect for each other's opinion. When Mikey suggests a game he thinks I'll enjoy, I try it. When I think Mikey will enjoy a game, I make him download it and force him to play with me until he loves it. I'm only slightly kidding. Side note, I may or may not have gotten my brother addicted to Diablo 3. That is it for this episode of Drawesome Gaming. There are so many more relationships and friendships I did not mention, so if you like this episode and want to hear more about my gaming relationships, let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to check out this week's Experience Point Chronicles podcast, where I elaborate even more on these relationships. Okay, love you, bye!